Now that you have determined the sun's actual bearing, let's see how you can use the sun to move around the terrain. We'll say that according to your calculations, the sun now bears 125 degrees. Although the sun moves continuously across the sky, you know that the 125 degree figure will remain for about 20, maybe 30 minutes, close enough to exact to be useful for your purposes. This means for the next half hour or so, you have a brilliant celestial guidepost you can use to travel in any direction across the terrain. Want to travel in a bearing of 125 degrees? Great. Just proceed in the direction that keeps the sun dead ahead of you. Well, that's easy enough, but what if you want to travel along a bearing of, say, 180 degrees? Knowing that the sun bears 125 degrees, use your handy-dandy protractor to measure from the 125 degree spot directly under the sun to the spot on the horizon where your hand measurements show the bearing should be 180 degrees. Next, as you face in the direction of 180 degrees, you notice the sun's position is at about 10 o'clock. Exactly 10 o'clock? No, but about 10 o'clock, and that's close enough. And here we're using a system in which you always consider the direction you're facing to be 12 o'clock. So 12 o'clock would be always considered to be straight ahead of you. 3 o'clock would be off to your right. 9 o'clock would be to your left. And 6 o'clock would be straight behind you. So in this case, you want to keep the sun at 10 o'clock or on your 10, as it's sometimes said, and you'll be heading at about 180 degrees. If you have to bypass an obstacle, as soon as you're past it, just proceed once again with the sun on your 10. Whenever your intended course puts the sun out of sight behind you, simply guide off your shadow instead of off the sun. If your intended course calls for the sun to be on your 6, for instance, your shadow will fall on your 12 whenever you're headed in the right direction. As you proceed, just keep your shadow on your 12 to maintain your intended heading. Your shadow will shift as you go around obstacles, but to maintain your course, return your shadow to your 12 as soon as the terrain permits.